Hey everyone, so today I'm going to work on some a round loaf of sourdough bread. That's called a bowl. And I wanted to show you one of our things. This isn't new, but it's a digital kitchen scale. Now this is one of those items that I thought, I don't think I'll ever use that because when I diet, I just cut back on things. I don't really measure things and portion them out. Till I started sourdough. Sourdough, a lot of the recipes is measured in grams. I have no measuring cups or anything that measures grams. So I had to buy a digital kitchen scale. But I do like this thing. It works really well, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So you have over here where it says units and over here where it says tare. If you hit tare, that brings it on. And this one's already up to grams, but you can change it in the units. Here it says ounces and then pounds. And then we're back to grams again. And I guess my finger must weigh that much. So I'm going to put this right here, and I may have to tilt this a little bit. So you may hear me, but not necessarily see me as I do some of this working. Okay. So this is our large mixing bowl. I have the set of the three. I usually like to use a large because after you get this mixed up, you're going to let it sit and rise. And I'm not sure how much it's going to rise. The medium bowl I could probably get away with, but we're going to do the large. And it has a nice non-skid bottom. I don't know if you've ever noticed these, but I mean, they don't move well because of that little ridge there. So anyway, we're going to sit this on here, and you'll see these numbers are starting to move. Let me push this back just a bit. And we're going to hit tare again until it gets to 0. So that cancels out the weight of the bowl. So at this point, get my little recipe out. And bread is not hard, guys. It really isn't. It's flour, it's water, it's the starter, and it's salt. That's it. So let's get started. I'm gonna grab my nice small mix and scrape here. We are going to put our starter in. We have to use 100 grams of that. And she's active and bubbly. I don't know if you can see in there the little bubbles. Let's see if I can put this up closer. But I fed her last night and she is ready to go. Probably could have got started a little earlier this morning. But anyway, so we need 100 grams. And I'm going to just pour in. And I like to do this slowly because it's more difficult to take back out. Okay, that's at 89. 98, 99. See what I can drop off the spoon there. There we are, 100 grams. Before I go any further with that, I'm just going to wipe this off and put the lid back on it. Because for some reason, we have a few gnats that have decided to come into the house. And they like the smell of sourdough. I guess it's that sour. So I've actually been, when I set my starter out, I've actually been hiding the darn thing. Sometimes I put it in the microwave. Sometimes I move some stuff out of my spice cabinet and stick it in there. Just to try to keep the gnats from finding it. Ain't that something? Okay, so we got our 100 grams, oh, my recipe went away, of starter. We're gonna hit tare again. It goes back to 0. I don't know if that's close enough that y'all can actually see that part, but we're gonna go to the water. 325 grams of water. So I have just some regular, I usually just use regular bottled water. So we're going to do, this was part of what I had left over from feeding it last night. It's 125. And yes, I figured I would need another one. And I did microwave this just a bit to take the chill off of it. That one was already at room temperature. 314. Oop. 327. Well, that's going to have to be all right because I don't know how to scoop the water back out. I've not had it be a big thing before, it goes over by 1 or 2. So I think we'll be okay. Maybe I'll just put a little dash of extra flour in. We need 475 grams of all-purpose flour, and I'm really hoping I got enough of that left. If not, I might have to go grab some bread flour or something else. But I am going to go ahead and mix this water and starter together. This is called a Danish dough hook, and it works really good when you're mixing dough. I know I just got my scraper out, but I'll use it too. Okay. So I'm just going to start with my measuring cup just to, because I know that it says 475 grams off to the side. It's 3.5 cups. Okay, so get my scoop out. So that's 76. $176. $277. $288. Okay. I am going to have to grab some extra flour. I will be right back. Turns out I don't have a whole lot of my bread flour left either. Hopefully it'll be just enough. But I brought my wheat flour in too, just in case. This is going to be some loaf of bread. It's going to have all kinds of flour in it. Okay. So we're at 288. And really the difference between your all-purpose flour and your bread flour is the bread flour has a little more glutens in it. 363. We're going for 475. 383. Alrighty, that's the end of that one. Scoop here. I actually like the taste of wheat in my bread anyway, so I've started my starter with wheat, and then I've changed it over to white. 452, 56. Well, there we go. It's at 481. Remember, I said I was going to go over just a tad bit with the flour, so that will be okay. And the next thing that is going to bring us to is our salt. We need 10 grams of salt, so we're going to clear that out. 7, 8, 10. Alrighty. So, at this point, we're gonna use our dough hook. I'm just gonna cut this off. If you push it down and hold it, that cuts the whole thing off. Because we're done measuring what we're gonna measure. And we're just gonna stir this up. And I always think that these kind of mixers or things that have holes in them, you think, that's not really going to stir or do very well because the stuff's going to slide right through. Well, for some reason it does. You know, we also have that one avocado mix and mash thing. I haven't purchased it, but maybe since this does really well, maybe I should. Maybe it does a very good job, and I just didn't think so. I think I splashed a little flour out there. So what you're going to want to do is not stir this overly, but if you can see, I still have some dry places down in the bottom of this. I'm just trying to stir this until I can get most all of that mixed together. And it looks like this is all coming together now. Trying to get it out of my, there we go. And it's okay for it to look like this, kind of craggly, or I think that's the word I've seen used to describe this. Trying to get as much of this as I can out of here to go into our bread. All right. So at this point, I'm going to leave this. This is how it looks when it's mixed up. I'm going to leave this as it is. And it's going to sit for 30 minutes. I'm going to put a paper towel over the top of it. Maybe a paper towel and a hand towel just to keep gnats out of it. And in 30 minutes, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a stretch and fold. Now, I'm not going to come back in here intermittently through the day and do videos. Although, I guess that could be kind of a progressive thing to do. But I will kind of show you here. A stretch and fold basically means you're just going to pick this up from one side and you're just going to pull this over and plop it in. And then you're going to turn your bowl a quarter and grab it from the other side, pick it up and put it in. Turn it again. But this has to sit for a little bit because what this is going to do by sitting for 30 minutes is that water is going to hydrate into that flour and get that ready to kind of do its thing. Now you can see this is kind of sticky on the hands. The way you would get around the stickiness of it is before you start doing your stretch and folds, wet your hands, and the flour and water don't stick as well. So I'm going to do 3 sets of those, and then this will just sit for about 6 hours or so. What's going to have to happen then is this is going to have to, whatever size that dough is by the time I get done with it, it's got to rise and double. After that, I'm going to shape it into a round bowl, put it into what's called a banneton, and put that into my refrigerator to cold ferment overnight. What the cold fermenting overnight does is that just helps it to get more of a sour taste. If you don't care about that, you just want to go with the sour taste of your sourdough starter, you could just leave it sitting for about 3 hours and then pop it in the oven and bake it. So, and I may come on and show y'all how it looks after I bake it tomorrow. I may do that much, but this is it, guys. See, that was very simple and easy. Another thing I do want to say is if you wanted to do more than a basic loaf, you wanted to do one that has what's called inclusions. I've done a jalapeno cheddar. That is really good. When you're doing the stretch and folds, that's when you're going to start adding your additives in. And as you're stretching and folding, it's mixing it in. So, I have seen one for a raspberry cheesecake. That looks divine to me. But, I haven't tried that yet. So, we're just doing a basic loaf today. I just wanted to show you that. So, thanks a lot. Y'all have a great Saturday. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.